And behind me is a Bedmart. That used to be a Blockbuster, 150194, closed in 2011. What happened? What happened to Blockbuster? Where did they all go? Will there be any remnants of the former greatness over in this now Bedmart? Let's take a look. See, I kind of think they would have a return slot here. No return slot. A lot of the Blockbusters had drop in if you want to drop your tape. So no signs of Blockbuster at this now Bedmart. So that begs to wonder, how do you go from 9,000 stores coast to coast to just one store? And what's that one store like? Why don't we hop on a plane and find out? There she is in all her glory. It really gives me a flashback to my childhood, which I think is most of the appeal of this last Blockbuster. Inside the store, there is plenty of overpriced merchandise, memorabilia, assorted Blockbuster swag, and even some novelty games. That's it. It'd be really interesting to see a sales breakdown of what percentage of revenue actually comes from video rentals versus people like myself who are taking a walk down memory lane. Also, if you feel like going further down memory lane, you can swing by Dandy's Drive-In, where girls on roller skates will serve you burgers while you sit in your car. A dang fine burger. Now, when Blockbuster first started, they were real pioneers. They entered into contract and revenue agreements with major studios that allowed them to have many more copies of any kind of new release movie than your typical mom and shop. This was the foundations that allowed them to become a 9,000 store juggernaut.
It looks like you have a late fee for Lady Hawk.
Oh, no problem. How much is it?
$32,419.
Late fees are a great way to earn revenue, but customers hate them. When competitors come around offering no late fees, customers are eager to jump ship. The funny thing about all these late fees is that I distinctly remember having about 6 or 7 different Blockbuster accounts, and the reason being is I would check out a movie, I'd return it late, I'd get late fees, open a new account, check out a movie, return it late, get some rewind fees, some late fees, wouldn't want to pay them, and I would just be in this ongoing battle with Blockbuster over late fees and rewind fees and whatever. Now I know the easiest way is just to rewind the video, return the movie on time, but my high school self, well, as most high school kids, we're not the most responsible people, but the fact that I was just allowed to keep creating new accounts showed something that I'm going to talk about next. Slow tech. This was often cited by customers as a reason for dissatisfaction. They couldn't tell you what movie was in stock. Checking out was a slow and cumbersome process, and Blockbuster, on a whole, was just really reluctant to try new technology after their initial business model showed success. Listen, I was never a fan of Blockbuster. I was more of a customer because I had no other choice. If I wanted to watch a new release on VHS, Blockbuster was pretty much the only game in town. Once Blockbuster came to your community, they were almost guaranteed to crush whatever mom and pop video rental stores were already operating there. And second, another reason, well, besides, there were the late fees, the rewind fees, customers hated that. And there was a lot of bitching, you can find it online, about people complaining about Blockbuster, about those fees. But the other thing that I'd like to mention is, since Blockbuster had contracts with the major studios, if you ever wanted to pick a movie that was maybe an independent film or a college film, you know, that might have been carried by an independent rental shop, that you will not find at Blockbuster. Very few, unless it already had some commercial success, like a movie like Clerks, Kevin Smith, something like that, then you might find it. But other films that weren't financially viable that maybe you were interested in, you were not going to find that at Blockbuster. Netflix actually approached Blockbuster management about working together, but was essentially laughed out of the boardroom by Blockbuster. Talk about a David and Goliath scenario. Online distribution came on hot and ended up melting the slow-moving, debt-ridden Blockbuster to the ground. Looking back, it's kind of a shame that Blockbuster was so poorly managed. Had they taken the initiative on cloud and DVD distribution, they could have potentially been a huge player with all their stores already in place. And that, my friends, is how you turn a thriving business and reduce it to rubble. And so what are the takeaways here that I learned personally while researching this? Well, first I'll tell you. One is always treat people how you want to be treated. You know, give people a break. I mean, Blockbuster actually tried, and I'm going back to the late fees, Blockbuster tried to get rid of the late fees, but it was such a big part of their revenue at that point that it was kind of too little too late. But I think they realized that if you treat people poorly, that when the next thing comes along, i.e. Netflix or Amazon streaming or Redbox, they're just going to leave you and go to that. And the second thing I learned while researching this video is always be willing to take on criticism, take on other people's opinion, listen to other suggestions, and actually implement them. Don't just listen. Not everything, of course. Don't implement everything, of course, but be willing to give it a fair shot and realize that sometimes 2 heads is better than 1, or 1,000 heads is better than 1. And my idea isn't always the best, and that's a good lesson for business and for life. Anyway, what is your experience with Blockbuster? Let me know in the comments below. I'm eager to hear what you have to think. And one last thing I'll say before I'm signing off is the one thing I did really always like about Blockbuster were the employees, the surface level employees that you would deal with at the store. A lot of them were film buffs and movie buffs, and they could suggest to you good films, good movies, and so for those people, they made Blockbuster kind of awesome, and that is something that Netflix and Amazon Prime will probably never be able to replicate, but their AI is getting pretty good. Anyways, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching the video, and until next time, this is Spot signing off. Aloha.